Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Very good evening. Good evening. So we'll get started. So what did we discuss last session? Do you remember? Can you type what we did discuss in the last section, last session? Mm-hmm. Operators, data type, arithmetic operators. Yes, guys. Okay. So yes, we'll continue. We discussed about arithmetic as well as comparison also, right? We did comparison operators also. Okay. So we will continue from where we left. Okay. So what we said was operations or operators. The operators are equal to, if you want to check if two values are equal to or not, if you want to check if two values are equal to or not, then what we do? We check with double equal to. Okay. Single equal to is for assignment. Remember this. Okay. Single equal to is for assignment. Double equal to is for asking a question. Is it equal to? Okay. Is it equal to? It's done using double equal to. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah. And then not equal to. Are the values not equal to? Okay. Less than equal to, greater than equal to, right? And greater than. So these are your comparison operators. So let's say if I have num1 and I say num1 equal to 10 and I have num2 as variables, we discussed these are called variables, isn't it? And they can have any of those values. So far we have discussed about 5 basic data types: integer, float, complex, boolean, and string. Okay. So let's say you say num1 equal to 10 and num2 equal to 20, right? Okay. Now we will check num1 equal to num2. So I'm asking question, is num1 equal to num2? Answer is obviously no, right? Num1 is not equal to num2, correct? Num1 is 10 and num2 is 20. So it should be false, correct? Now if I'm asking, is num1 not equal to num2? Is num1 not equal to num1? Is num1 not equal to num2? Yes, they are not equal, correct? They are not equal, so it's going to be true. Print. Okay. Num1 less than num2. Is num1 less than num2? Okay. Is num1 less than num2? Answer is yes. So guys, you can answer on your chat also. Want to see? Okay. So is num1 less than num2? Yes, num1 is 10. So less than will give us true. Okay. So this is going to be true. Now I'm going to ask, is num1 less than equal to num2? So it means I'm checking if num1 is less or equal to. Obviously it is less, So it should be true, right? Now I'm going to check num1, okay, greater than equal to num2. Is it greater? No, it's not, right? So it will be false. Now I'm going to say print num1 greater than num2. Num1 is not greater than num2, isn't it? Num1 is small, so this is going to be false. These are your comparison operators, okay? And when you run them here, this is P2. Let me select P2 and run it, okay? So you get false, true, 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 false, false, okay? So these are your comparison operators. These are used to compare two different values. So comparison operators, what we have seen is it can take any value, okay? It can take any value as input. Comparison operator can take any type as input, but the output is always what? Output is always, let's see who can get this right. You can answer in the chat. Yes, Ankita, Mahima. Answer. So input, Shubham, yes, you're right. Okay. So input is any value, okay, and the output is always Boolean. Okay, this is how your comparison operators operate. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay, and we'll see. Okay, we will see where these are used. One more important aspect which I want to talk about before we get into details, okay, is what we call as logical operators. What are logical operators? Okay, as name suggests, they test your logic. Okay, they are there to test your logic. Okay, so what are those operators? Mostly we use and or. Okay, and you also have not. Okay, so let's say I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to say I am going to do task 1 and task 2 today. I'm going to say I said it that I'm going to do task 1 and task 2 today. But actually what happened was I did only task 1. So tell me, did I meet my commitment or no? Did I meet my commitment? Yes or no? What do you think? Did I do what I said? So I got some responses. Let me see. Ankita says yes. And Ehtasham says no. Okay. Okay. Let me ask one more question. Alifia says half done. So see, my question is, did I meet yes or no? Right? So you cannot say no, no, something in between. My question is very clear. Did I meet yes or no? Right? So there's no half done, 30% done. I didn't give you that option. I gave you only two options, yes or no, right? So you should say only yes or no, right? Now let me take another, put it in different way. I'm going to, now I say that I'm going to do task 1 or task 2 today. And I do only task 1. Now you tell me, did I meet my commitment or no? Did I meet my commitment or no? Who wants to answer it? Second question. Alfia says yes. Anshu says no. Mahima says yes. So see here, in second problem, okay, I am talking about 2 tasks, correct, which is correct. I'm talking about 2 tasks. But what did I say? I am not committing for both the tasks. I'm committing for only one of the 2. Okay, I'm committing for only one of the 2. I'm not committing for both. I'm saying I will do this or this. So if I do both, great. But even if I do one, it's great only. So I did meet my commitment. Okay, but here I'm promising both. I said I will do this and this, but I don't do one. I do only one. I don't do both, right? I did only one. So clearly, I did not meet my commitment. I did not meet my commitment. Okay, I did not meet my commitment. Okay, so here answer is no, I did not meet. When you commit for both, you have to deliver both. Okay, you cannot deliver one and say I'm done. No, you said both, I will do it, so you have to do both. If I say or this, isn't it? I will do this or this. So you are taking commitment only for one. If you do both also fine. If you do one also, it's fine only. Okay, but when you say and, you have to do both. There is no escape route for that. Okay, so this is how it works. What works? Logical and or. This is how your and or works. Okay, so you have to make sure you have to make sure what? Complete the sentence. Okay, so when you're talking about and, both the statement have to be true. Otherwise it will be false. So now we'll go to the logical operators. Okay, I'm going to talk about logical operator. Okay, so if you have true and false, okay, so logical operators will take input as Boolean and the output will also be Boolean. Okay, so logical operator will take Boolean as input and the output will also be Boolean. Make sense? Okay, so coming back to our example, true and false. So here spelling is very important. Okay, Python is case sensitive. So when you talk about Boolean, you have to be very careful. So here you see your left side, which is true, okay, is an Boolean value, which is T capital, R U E is small. The operator that we are using is AND, A and D, and all those are lowercase. Then we have false, which is the right side operator, which has F capital, A L S E small. So true and false is written in this specific manner. Okay, is written in this specific manner. Make sense? Okay. So now when I run it, what do you expect? We expect false because I told you only if both are true and will give you true. Even if one value is false, you get false. Okay, so you get false here. Okay, how do we write and? We say true and false. Okay, no, this is and, right? I want to talk about or. So or if you take, we saw that in or even one value is true, entire thing will be true. So mentally in your mind, think or as plus addition and as multiplication. It's not exactly same, but think in that way. Okay, and as multiplication and or as addition. Okay, if I ask you which takes higher preference, and or, which will take higher preference, and or, which takes higher preference, addition or multiplication? Which takes higher preference, guys? Addition or multiplication? I'm asking you, addition or multiplication? Nobody wants to respond. Pratik says multiplication, correct? So if multiplication takes higher preference between and or, which one do you think will take higher preference? Pratik, yes, and is correct. Okay. So I told you what, Harshada, you don't know between multiplication, addition, multiplication takes higher preference. Multiplication takes higher preference, and I told you and is like multiplication, so and will take higher preference. So if you have a statement where you have both multiplication and addition, okay, so here, okay, so if I give 5 plus 3 into 2, what is the answer? 5 plus 3 into 2, what will be the answer? Anshu says 16. What is this, Shubham, Maithili? I know, Anshu, I was just joking. Okay, don't worry. You got it right. I was joking, and because of my joke, 2-3 people have got it wrong also. Ha, Maithili, according to board mass, what will be done first? According to board mass, 3 into 2, 6 plus 5, 11. Pawan is like 30. Wow. So converted everything into. Maitri, don't argue. I'm telling you, you understand. Otherwise, go and check your book. Don't argue. When you are wrong, you shouldn't argue. You should learn. Okay? When you get wrong, you should learn. Don't argue. Yes. So when you have addition and multiplication, first multiplication will be done. 3 into 2 is 6. Okay, even though we have plus before, but we know that when you have plus and multiplication, first multiplication will be done. So 3 into 2 is 6 and plus 5 is 11. So when I run it, you get 11. Okay. So similarly, now if I put, okay, what I'm going to do is, let me take all these. Okay, and or and or and or. Okay, so we got this. What will be the answer for this? Let's solve one by one. First, oops. First, let's solve this. Okay, so we'll go step by step. Come on, I'm not going to do it. You guys are going to help me. What is n1 equal to n2? What do you get here? N1 is n1 equal to n2. Okay, let me copy and paste the values here so that you know the values. Okay, tell me, what are the values here? So 10 and 20. So num1 equal to num2. Pratik says false. Let me put it as false. Okay. Num1 not equal to num2. Anshu says true. It is true, not wrong, false. And num1 is not equal to num2, isn't it? So it is true. Okay. Num1 less than num2. True or false? Again, Anshu is super fast. Okay. Yes, it is true. Num1 less than equal to num2. What, Anshu? You got wrong this time. Num1 is less than, right? Nikhil. Nikhil is right. This time Nikhil got it right. So it is true. Num1 is less than num2, isn't it? So num1 is less than num2. So it is true. Okay. Now num1 greater than num2. Pawan is super fast this time. Great. And number 1 greater than num2. Ritesh again got it right. False. Yes. Okay. So false or true and true or true and false or false. Okay. So now what I have to do is, I told you when you have and or, which one should be done first? Ankita says and that's right. Okay. So let's go and solve and first. Okay. So and. What should we do? What will be the answer here? And. Anshu says true. Yes. Okay. Do we have more and? Yes, we have one more and. So I go here and I select this. So what is T and F? Anshu says false, and that's right, it is false. Okay, now you have left with all or false or true, or even if it is one. Yes, Anshu, you're super fast, you're getting it right always. Yes, this is true. Now again, I'm going to do true or false. What do you get? Anshu is again true. Okay, true or false, what do you get? Anshu, you got all fast. Yes. So when I run this, okay, you will get true. Okay, that's what it means, true. Okay, so this is how comparison operators and logical operators can work together. Not is simple, not true is false, for not false is true. Not you takes only one input parameter. Okay, so it will take a Boolean value. If it is true, it will make it false. If it is false, it will make it true. Simple. Okay, so this is your logical operators. We have covered once, one small milestone. Now this paves way for next topic, which is called conditional statements. Okay, so with this we enter into conditional statements. Conditional statements are statements, okay, of course, which is based on some condition. Okay, so based on some condition, whether you can decide whether to execute a certain block of code or not to execute certain block of code. Okay, so so program will have all the code, but based on some values, okay, you might decide to do something else. Okay, so let me take an example and then explain you with that. I'm going to move all these away to a file. Okay, coming back to this. Okay, so I said condition. So let's say you have a situation. Okay, I was thinking what should okay, I'm just thinking a condition. Okay, so let's say, okay, you want to say if a student has passed the exam or not. Okay, you want to check and confirm if a student has passed the exam or not. Okay, so if the average is greater than equal to 40, we say passed. Otherwise, we will say failed. So first, let's see how to form or calculate average. Okay, so how do you calculate average? You will say, okay, marks in subject 1 equal to int of input, enter marks in subject 1. Okay, and I'm going to do it for 5 subjects. I'm going to copy this, paste it 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going to say total equal to marks 1 plus marks 2, marks 3 plus marks 4 plus marks 5. Okay, so total. We haven't changed this, right? We need to change this to 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now this is the total. How to calculate average? You will simply say AVG equal to total by 5. Total, we have 5 subjects, isn't it? So we have 5 subjects. So you'll divide by 5. Sounds good? Okay. Now I want to find, or let's display first, okay, and then we will do it. So we'll display it using format string. So I'm going to say print format string, print, or you'll say total of all the marks is total, and the average is ABG. When I run it, it's asking me to enter marks, right? So I'm going to enter 56, 65, 76, 45, okay, 44. Okay. So what do you get? You get 57 as the average marks. So with 57, should you publish pass or fail? It is pass. Yes, Sankita, it is pass, right? So now see the program that we write, we will write program for both the cases, isn't it? The way we will write program should be true for both the cases. So I cannot say here pass, okay? I cannot simply say print pass, because if the average is less than 40, then it will should be failed, right? And so we cannot simply say pass here. We need to understand when to when to pass or when to fail. So there is a condition, right? And if that condition is met, okay, you say pass. The condition hasn't met, you say fail. Okay. So yes, you're right, Shubham. Okay, average greater than 40 is the condition. So how do we test the condition? Okay, so we use something called as if. If is a clause using which we'll check the conditions. Okay, so remember, if followed by your comparison operator. Okay, so now you're comparing, isn't it? So if average is greater than equal to 40 colon. Okay, so you have if followed by conditional statement, a comparison operator. Okay, operator is greater than equal to 40. So average greater than equal to 40. So your comparison operators will give you what output? Everybody with me? So I'm saying if average is greater than or equal to 40, if average is greater than or equal to 40, that means average, okay, is greater than or equal to 40. This will result in either true or false. Whatever you want to do when it is true should be done here. So if when it is true will go inside if, otherwise it will go outside if. Okay, so here I'm saying if followed by condition, colon indicates beginning of if block. What if condition is true? That part we write after colon. That part we write after colon. So if average greater than equal to 40, we'll say print you have passed. Okay. So you are saying you have passed. Okay, great. Now you see here, I have given spaces here. You will have to give, okay, you have to give space. You have to give space, indicating indicating you have to give space, indicating that this block of code you have passed belongs to if. Okay, you have to write it indicating that this block of code belongs to if. Otherwise, okay, this will be part of main. Okay, so this block of code, okay, so see, you have to assign block of code which will be executed only if condition is true, right? So that's what we are putting it there. So if average is greater than equal to 40, if it is true, then the block of code needs to have indentation to indicate that this belongs to only if true. Okay, now how many spaces to give? You have a choice. Okay, for Python, even one space is fine. Python will be happy even if you give one space, it's not going to throw error. But what happens is, to our eyes, it might look as if there is no space. One or two space we may not be able to read, right? So to our eyes, to just to make sure that our eyes does not get confused between if there's a space or not, we give one tab space. You can give 100 spaces also, but then I can give here also, no problem. But then it may not look good in the programming. Okay, so the preferred way is that you give one tab space. This is preferred. Preferred is you give one tab space. Okay, and this line of code is inside if. This line of code is inside if. This line of code is inside if. Okay, so now let's run it and see what happens. I give marks 33, 34, 56, 21, 22. Okay, average is 33.2. Okay, so you see, this pass got printed because this pass is part of main. Correct? So we'll delete it. Now you see, you have passed has not been printed. Why so? Why this is not printed? Why is this not printed? You have passed is not printed. Nobody wants to answer? Nobody wants to answer? 35 people, nobody wants to answer? So Nikhil, question is, you have passed is not printed. Why? You have passed is not printed because your average value is 33. 33 is not greater than 40. 33 is not greater than 40. 33 is less than 40. So condition becomes false. Okay, so average is 30. Is 33 greater than equal to 40? No. 33 is neither equal to nor greater than 40. Okay, so this condition becomes false. When condition becomes false, it might, okay, right? So average now is greater than 40, it became false and it is not going to go inside. Okay, everyone clear so far? Okay, now if I run it again and this time I give little higher marks, 45, 55, 65, 59, 60. Average is 56.8. Obviously, average is more than 40, so you pass. Okay, great. So this time condition is true, so you have passed, got printed. Okay, so this is how you can control the flow of program. Control the flow of program. You have passed is not printed, is not checked when condition is false, is printed when condition is true. Awesome. Now I want to print you have failed. If not passed, you have failed. So you have something called as else. Else will not have condition. Remember, else will not have condition. Else will not have condition. Okay, then how does it know that it has to execute? It knows it has to execute because when if becomes false, else is automatically printed. If become false, then else condition is automatically printed, right? So I'll say print sorry, you have failed. Okay, so now if I say 33, 22, 90, 10, 10, average 33, sorry, you have failed. You see it? You have failed is coming from the else part. You have failed is coming from else. Okay, so this is how your condition works in Python. Let's take one more example. Now I want to check, okay, what I'll do, let me move this because I don't want to enter the marks again and again. I'm going to move this away to different file. We'll come back here. Now let's say I have a number, okay, minus 60. I want to check if this number is positive or negative. So are there only two options possible, positive or negative, or do we have any third option also possible? Okay, I want to check if the number is positive or negative. So I'm asking you, we have only two options or any other option is also possible. I want to check if number is positive. So you're saying only two option. Okay. Nikhil says only two options. Okay. Anybody else? So Nikhil, what is zero? Is zero a positive number or a negative number? So if I enter 0, is that positive number or negative number, Nikhil? Nikhil, is 0 negative or positive? Harshad, negative or positive? Yes. So you said only two options are possible. Now you're saying it's neither positive nor negative. If not positive, not negative, then what is it? Is it not a number? Yes. So Harshad, what is this? Is 0 is positive or negative number? Okay. So yes, 0 is a number. It is a integer number, right? But it's neither positive nor negative. Okay. So it's not considered as your positive or negative number, but still it's a number. Okay. Okay. So in this case, we have three conditions possible. Okay. We have three conditions possible. So when you have three conditions, we know the first one has to be if, and else is always the last one because else does not have condition. That means if none of the above condition met, else will be called. If none of the above conditions are met, else will be called. So your else will always be the last comparison. Okay. First is if, else is last. In between, you have elif, short form for else if. Okay. In between, you have else if, short form for elif. Elif is generally used. Okay. But it means else if. Okay. So let me use this. So I'm going to say if num1 greater than 0, then I'm going to say, so Harshal, it's not greater than equal to, it is greater than. Okay, so I'm going to say it's a positive number. If num1 less than 0, we say it's a negative number. Okay, and then finally you have else, which says it's 0. Okay, so now if I may, okay, let me run this. If I run P2 now, it says negative number. But now if I make it 0 and run it, okay, you get 0. So 0 is neither positive nor negative. So we ended up creating three conditions: greater than 0, less than 0, and if it is else, else means what? It is equal to 0, right? So we ended up creating three conditions. Okay, so you can create any number of conditions. You can create any number of conditions, 3, 5, 7, 9. We'll take one example tomorrow and we'll see. We'll take grading example and we'll see how you can have like 5 or 6 kind of conditions in one single program. Okay, so what we have learned is we can do conditional check using if, else, elif. So if, elif, else. If you have only one condition to check, you can only use if. You don't have to use else and elif. If you are using two conditions, only two conditions, then you can use if and else. If means, okay, which we know the condition. Okay, else means if the if condition is false, then you come to else. Okay, and then if you have more than two, you will use elif in between. So if I have 10 conditions, your first one will be if, your 10th one will be else. First and last, first and 10th will be if and else. In between all 8 will be ellipse. In between all 8 will be ellipse. Okay. So I hope this is important topic. That's why I wanted to go slow. Okay. I hope you understood. Okay. And you'll be able to implement them. Tomorrow we'll see one example and then we move to the next topic, which is loops. Okay. And we'll do a few more examples later. Okay. Any questions before we wrap up for the day? Okay. If there are no questions, we'll end it here. Please practice. Okay. Especially those who are doing programming for the first time or Python for the first time. Please use it to practice and become perfect. Okay. Practice makes perfect. So please practice and we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Take care, everyone. Bye.